the GOATs, right? How you gonna sit there and tell me Steph is not in that conversation?
I said that before.
You get what I'm saying? You can't sit there and tell me.
I said that and people clown me.
In Steph's eyes, right? Think about what Steph said. Probably, I don't know, but probably sits from. It's Mike, it's Cole, and then it's me.
Steph Curry just detonated a bomb on the internet with a statement that has fans losing their minds. When he was asked where he stands among the legends of the game, he didn't even flinch. He looked them in the eye and said it loud, MJ first, Kobe second, and me at number 3. Yeah, he actually put himself right there. The internet went into a total meltdown instantly. Memes are flying, critics are roasting him, and people are acting like he's completely lost his grip on reality. But hold on a second. What if Steph isn't crazy? What if he's just speaking a truth that the world is too terrified to admit?
Curry looking for that opening. Steps back. Crossover. Fires away. Wow! Another three! James trying to harass Curry. Curry off the dribble. Layup off the glass. Shot clock winding down. Curry's going to have to put it up. Launches it up. Shot clock. Oh, he knocks it down!
When you stack up his entire resume, the record-shattering stats, the championship rings, and the fact that he literally reinvented how the game is played, that top 3 claim starts to sound less like ego and a lot more like reality. Curry's legacy has become bulletproof no matter how much the haters try to ignore it. Think about the impact. This man made the deep ball look like a layup. Defensive schemes are now forced to chase him past half court just to stop him from touching the leather. Here's Curry from the logo. The triple falls. And just like that, we are tied up again.
He's not going to put Braun over himself.
See?
But he has every legitimate argument.
That shot right there, pure insanity. Nobody on the planet operates on his level. He turned the impossible into a routine and shattered the traditional rhythm of basketball forever. Let's be real. Before Steph, Golden State was complete garbage. Calling them bad is actually being generous. He didn't just show up to clock in. He performed a total cultural autopsy, built a ruthless dynasty from the ground up, and gave the Bay Area a powerhouse that teams actually feared to face.
7 to shoot. Curry, deep one! Bullseye!
Almost lost it out of bounds. Curry cutting. Oh my goodness.
See Murray at midcourt trying to keep from getting a catch. Here's Curry, deep triple! It's good! We're tied again!
From 1995 to 2009, the Warriors were a total disaster. No sugarcoating it. Their win rate was a pathetic 37.6%, making them the 3rd worst laughingstock in the league. Only the cursed Clippers and the drowning Vancouver Grizzlies were lower in the standings. Things got so toxic for the Grizzlies that they literally had to abandon the city and move to Memphis just to survive. During that 14-year nightmare, Golden State managed a grand total of 5 playoff wins. And let's be clear, that's 5 games, not series. That was the 2nd lowest win count in the entire NBA. The only reason they weren't dead last was that the Grizzlies failed to win a single postseason game in that span, which technically made the Warriors look better. But that's like bragging about being the tallest kid in a kindergarten class. If you had walked up to any fan in 2009 and predicted that this franchise was about to rule the next decade, they would have laughed you out of the building. Absolutely. Nobody saw this coming.
You know, and the shot he made to tie towards the end, it's a shot that, you know, only he can make.
This absolute joke of a franchise, the team everyone used to clown, was about to flip the entire league upside down. What followed wasn't a stroke of luck. It was basketball history being written in blood and sweat. Steph Curry's climb to the top wasn't your typical superstar fairy tale. He didn't go hunting for a super team or chase cheap rings by riding the coattails of other all-stars. No. He took one of the most pathetic rosters in the NBA and engineered a dynasty from absolute zero, turning a legacy of failure into a powerhouse of championships. That is the raw material legends are carved from. But here is the real kicker that separates Steph from the pack: his unbreakable loyalty. In a modern era where players jump ship the second things get uncomfortable, Steph stayed 10 toes down. While the franchise was crumbling, he didn't bail, and he didn't whine to the media. He stood his ground and carried the entire organization on his back. He didn't just talk about being loyal, he lived it out loud.
Curry handling, crossing over, driving in, slinging on his hip. Circles to the corner. Space. Listen, fires a three, hit another one. He's hit three in a row.
Did you see what happened on that?
In 2020, the Golden State Warriors hit rock bottom. They finished with a pathetic 1550 record, dead last in the NBA. The same powerhouse that once felt invincible was suddenly the league's punching bag, racking up losses like they were going out of style. Every talking head and sports headline started screaming that the dynasty was dead, burying the Warriors' era for good. But then, the resurrection began. Steph Curry returned the following season fully healthy, and he immediately reminded the world why he's a nightmare to guard. He dragged that roster to 39 wins, operating like a one-man army, even when it wasn't enough to crack the postseason. The media circled like vultures again, demanding that Golden State blow up the team and start from scratch. Everyone was counting him out, but Steph didn't flinch. This is where he proved he is cut from a different cloth. He didn't demand a trade, he didn't subtweet his teammates, and he didn't have his agent leaking unhappy stories to the press. He stayed silent, trusted the grind, and outworked everyone. That's the kind of leadership that doesn't need a microphone. It speaks through action. Meanwhile, other superstars were treating the league like a game of musical chairs. LeBron James has hopped squads 4 times. Kevin Durant, 4 teams. James Harden is on number 5 and still counting. Even Kawhi Leonard has moved twice, draped in all that load management drama. Through all that chaos, one man remained anchored. Steph Curry stayed loyal to the Bay, standing steady in the storm and proving that real legends don't need to chase greatness. Greatness finds them. It's insane how people forget that Steph is still running this league on his own terms. Today's stars bail the second things get difficult, calling it a business decision. But Steph looked at the exit door and said, "Nah, I'm built different."
Hannah, I'm told that James Harden wants a trade to the Philadelphia 76ers.
He chose loyalty over shortcuts and prioritized the grind over the headlines, and that gamble paid off in the most legendary way possible. Then, boom, 2022 arrived, and the entire basketball world got flipped on its head once again. The Warriors stormed back from the depths, shattering the silence and burying every critic who had written their obituary just a few seasons prior. Those same talking heads who shouted that the dynasty was dead suddenly found themselves speechless.
Apparently Durant requested a trade from the Nets today.
The narrative used to be that Steph was throwing away his prime without Kevin Durant. But man, the doubters couldn't have been more wrong. He served a cold reminder that his legacy doesn't depend on who's standing next to him. It's defined by who's failing to stop him. Steph didn't just prove the haters wrong, he absolutely decimated every single one of their takes. He took a roster that everyone had left for dead, carried that battered squad through a mountain of doubt, and marched them straight to another championship. That's ring number 4. And this time, he snatched that long-awaited Finals MVP trophy, the one trophy the experts swore he'd never touch. That 2022 title hit differently. It wasn't about flashy hype or assembled super teams. It was about raw loyalty, the relentless grind, and a level of greatness that simply cannot be faked. That ring sent a shockwave across the entire basketball world.
This stuff is hard. And you got to stay together if you got the guts, and you don't find the first door and run out of it.
Steph Curry never needed Kevin Durant to validate his greatness. The 2022 run proved once and for all that the Warriors dynasty wasn't a fluke or a lucky streak. It was his masterpiece. When the walls close in and you're the one who finds a way to rise from the ashes, that's how you define a legend. That is how you carve your name into the granite of basketball history forever. But here is the real head-scratcher. When the media obsesses over players aging like fine wine, they constantly worship LeBron James and Kevin Durant, right? 2 icons, no doubt. But somehow, Steph Curry is left out of that conversation, despite putting up numbers that are just as lethal season after season. How does that even make sense? Right now, he's torching the league for 28.5 points a game, shooting 47% from the floor and 39% from deep. That isn't just good for his age. That is cold-blooded in any era, period. This season alone, he's already exploded for over 40 points 3 times, including a 49-point masterclass that left the entire world speechless. The message is loud and clear. His prime isn't over. It's still in high gear. Let's be real. The man is pushing 38 and still cooking elite defenses like it's 2015. Coaches are losing sleep trying to draw up schemes to slow him down. Double teams, traps, box and ones. It doesn't matter. He keeps lighting them up like it's a practice run. And check this stat, because it's the ultimate mic drop. Steph has now recorded 44 games with 40-plus points after turning 30, tying Michael Jordan for the most in NBA history. You heard that right. He is standing shoulder to shoulder with the GOAT himself. It's wild when you look back. A player once dismissed as too small and too fragile is now rewriting the record books with ease. Every jumper he drains is a reminder that you can't tell the story of basketball without putting his name in bold letters. Guards aren't supposed to stay this elite for this long. Usually the legs go, the speed fades, and the jumper starts clanking off the rim. But not Steph. He is completely flipping the script on what aging looks like in the NBA.
You and Dominique Foxworth are going to sit on First Take and say that Steph Curry will not be in the conversation for a championship in the next 4 years.
Night after night, he is still out there incinerating defenders with that same effortless smile, making the impossible look easy while everyone else is gasping for air. Every single year, Steph Curry shatters the rulebook on what a point guard is supposed to achieve in his mid-30s. Analysts constantly, and rightfully, hype up LeBron James for his longevity. But here is the reality check. Steph is matching that elite energy from a position that is infinitely harder to sustain. He is maintaining the same lethal production, the same rhythm, and the same competitive fire. Yet he is consistently sidelined in those aging like fine wine debates. It makes zero sense. It's as if the world decided on Steph's ranking years ago and just hit pause, refusing to acknowledge the greatness happening right in front of them. But numbers don't lie, and they don't care about your narrative. The cold, hard truth is that he is still stacking insane stats, still carrying his team to victories, and his greatness isn't fading, it's evolving. What truly elevates Steph, though, is his character. In this era of player empowerment, where superstars drop podcast bombs or post cryptic, drama-filled Instagram stories about trades and beef, Steph remains the ultimate professional. He doesn't need a circus to stay relevant. No shade, no finger-pointing, and no messy interviews. Just pure, quiet confidence and undeniable results. He lets his game scream louder than any headline ever could. In a league where chasing attention has become more valuable than chasing trophies, that kind of integrity is a rare breed.
Curry against Horford, gets past him inside, off the glass again. Fakes, fires, three-pointer, bang! Steph Curry from downtown, a 15-point lead.
But Steph, he's built differently. He's focused, grounded, and still cooking like he's got a point to prove every single night. He operates like a pro from a forgotten era. Clock in, dominate, clock out, and repeat. No excuses, no sideshows, just pure, unadulterated greatness. No trash talk, no unnecessary showboating, just the grind. Think about the storms the Warriors have weathered. There were seasons where the foundation looked like it was turning to dust. But through the chaos, Steph Curry never once threw a teammate under the bus. Not once. Even when the front office made moves that had him shaking his head behind closed doors, he kept that frustration private. No leaks, no toxic headlines, and zero finger-pointing. That's the mark of a true leader.
But to be honest with you, I don't see the Golden State Warriors bringing home another championship.
And trust me, the media tried to bait him into the drama over and over again, but he never flinched. That level of calm, collected professionalism is almost extinct in today's game. In an era dominated by constant cameras and forced hot takes, leadership like his hits 10 times harder. Finding a franchise player who stays loyal, keeps his mouth shut when the pressure rises, and still shows up ready to lead? That is a rare breed now. Most people don't even grasp how powerful that steady energy is for an entire organization. When your leader refuses to panic, the rest of the team follows that same composed rhythm. That quiet control is exactly what keeps a locker room from imploding when things go south. To see how special he truly is, you have to line him up against the absolute icons. legends like Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and Tim Duncan.
Right? Think about what Steph said. Probably, I don't know, but probably sit from. It's Mike, it's Cole, and then it's me. Right? Like, he's not going to put Bron over himself.
See?
But he has every legitimate argument.
And I asked the
to
question.
Sit there.
But the real story unfolds when you line him up against the stars of his own generation. That is where the contrast becomes blinding. Look around. Most of his peers took the path of least resistance, joining super teams, franchise hopping, and stacking rosters just to hunt for rings. Loyalty was traded for convenience, and the phrase, "it's just business," became the ultimate shield for bailing when the going got tough. Fans even stopped questioning it. But when you look closer, those choices redefine what greatness truly means. Because Steph, he didn't hunt for shortcuts. He built the foundation himself. He endured the pain, stayed anchored to the grind, and transformed Golden State into a global powerhouse with his own two hands. That is the fundamental difference between chasing a championship and creating one. While others moved on when things crumbled, Steph's journey proves what raw patience can build when you refuse to run from the struggle. That isn't just greatness, it's legacy in motion. Even a dominant force like Shaq, after losing a finals run in Orlando, wasted no time packing for Los Angeles when the bright lights called. There's no hate there, but it highlights a reality. Even the most unstoppable forces in history couldn't pull off what Steph Curry managed to do. Building a dynasty from zero, keeping it alive through absolute chaos, and emerging with a legacy stronger than ever? That takes heart and belief on a different level. Steph's 30s have been nothing short of legendary. Isolate that stretch alone, and it stands toe-to-toe with any superstar's prime in NBA history. 2 championships, a finals MVP, 7 All-NBA nods, and a scoring title. That's a career resume. And he did it while the roster around him was splintering. Every time the world shouted, "The dynasty is over," Steph stepped up and silenced the noise. At this point, it's bigger than the rings. It's about the impact. The modern game has Steph's fingerprints all over it. Before him, a 30-foot jumper was a one-way ticket to the bench. Now, teams are launching deep threes like it's nothing. He didn't just change the stats, he shifted the entire culture of the sport. Every youth program and pro system now has a piece of his game baked into their playbook. He didn't need to stack the deck, he was the deck. So, when Steph ranks himself right behind Jordan and Kobe, it doesn't sound wild anymore. It sounds like the truth. He didn't walk into a dynasty. He willed one into existence. That takes vision, guts, and an unshakable faith. In an era of team hopping and shortcuts, Steph Curry stood firm like an anchor in a storm. He's still dominating in his late 30s, proving his resume doesn't whisper, it shouts. 4 rings, endless records, and a revolution that reshaped basketball from the ground up. What more is there to prove? If you felt this breakdown, hit that like, drop a share, and subscribe to Basketball Pulse for more deep dives into the legends who changed the game forever.